Hey, how's it going, guys? So I just wanted to make another one of these quick little videos just talking about some of the recent things that have been happening in the sports news recently. And today I just wanted to talk about the Jets. So I bet a lot of you watched the Monday Night Football game with the Patriots and the Jets, and wow. Wow, that was rough. Man, I mean, but it's a perfect example of the failures that have been happening in New York. I'm a big New England fan, and I'm not like the biggest fan. I mean, we have a little bit of a rivalry with the Red Sox, Yankees, all that sort of stuff. But I wouldn't mind. Like, I don't mind if the Yankees are good. I don't mind if the Knicks are good. I don't mind if the Jets are good. We need a little bit of good competition. Like, that's the way it makes sports really interesting. So I mean, I do honestly feel really bad that New York football has not been working out in the last 5 years, especially on the Jets side of it. I mean, the Giants have had their issues with Eli Manning declining and whatnot, but they have two Super Bowls under their belt in the last 20 years. The Jets haven't won it since the early 1900s, and it's obviously like these last 5 years have just been embarrassing for the franchise. For the last three or 4 years, they've had the top three pick. Like, what have those picks turned into? I mean, obviously, like they've turned into good players with Jamal Adams. I mean, even though Sam Darnold, we'll get to him later on in the video. Even though he had a bad game last night, he's a good quarterback. He's a good player, and and then they got a great defensive tackle this last year, and I just feel like that they're not fully utilizing all the pieces that they fully have. I mean, you saw what the Browns did. John Dorsey had $110 million. I mean, granted, they had the first and fourth pick 2 years ago, but see how he changed that franchise. He made the right calls, the right signings, and then those players were able to pan out really well. I mean, it's not showing fully this year, but see what they did last year. They fired Hugh Jackson, and they won 8 games in a row under Greg Williams. 7 games in a row. My bad. There was one tie, but no, the tie was the first game. But what I was talking about. 2 years ago, the Jets had a perfect opportunity right when they signed Darnold. It was great. They've had $90 million of cap space. They had it that year when they signed Darnold. And then this last year was supposed to be the pinnacle year when it all came together. And I was actually really excited because I wanted Mike McNannon to finally actually do something with all these picks that he had, with all this cap space that he had. He finally was able to bring it all together. And also, he fired Tim Bortles and was able to get a new coach this next year and change the whole culture. It would have all come together. He had Mike McCarthy open. He had Mac McFleur open. He even could have hired Zach Taylor, who got hired by the Bengals. I mean, he was under Sean McVay for 3 or 4 years and was able to develop Jared Goff and really learn from Sean McVay. And so he would have really been able to change the entire culture in New York. But even more with Mike McCarthy, he worked with Brett Favre, he worked with Aaron Rodgers. Now he'd be working with Sam Darnold. But you're telling me you're going to go with Adam Gates, who has a 23-25 record with the Dolphins, the same team that is in your division, and it's not even like he had bad players. I mean, you could pull the whole Tannehill card, even though he just won this last week. But it's not like he didn't have Jai. It's not like he didn't have Jarvis Landry. But what happened to those two guys? They got into fights with Adam Gates, and then he traded him. I mean, and then the team looked awful after that. I mean, you can make the whole argument that Adam Gates had a 10-6 record during his first year, but whoop-de-doo. See what happened with Miami. Look where Miami is now. Brian Flores has to pick up the pieces because Gates didn't know what the heck he was doing. And now, I see it in New York. It was a great example last night. It was like a high school coach and a high school player. Like, they said it in the mic'd up. Adam Gase, his best advice to Darnold after he threw 3 picks was, remember what we did in practice. Come on, give me a break, buddy. Are you serious? Like, that's the way to hype up your guy. That's the way to be like, it's all right. You're just going to tell him, like, just focus on what we did in practice. Obviously, that's not working. It was almost 33-0. Like, are you serious? It was 24-0 during the half, and you're telling me that's all you're really going to say to your quarterback to hype him back up, to make his head all right? Because, I mean, the guy hasn't played for the first 5 weeks, so he's a little bit rusty, and you could definitely see it from last game. And it was really highlighted on Get Up with Mike Greenberg, because he's a huge Jets fan, he really highlighted it really well, because when Mike McNannon got fired, he talked about how the owner hadn't been there for 3 months. And, they made the biggest moves during the 3 months. And you're not the owner. The main owner is not going to be there and analyze what that GM did and really understand if he wants this GM to move forward, like, through this very important offseason. But then once he makes all these signings, all these draft picks, all this money's going all over the place, then you're going to make the decision. Really. It just makes no sense to me. And, they're really wasting the Le'Veon Bell talent. They're really wasting the Jamal Adams talent. I feel like they surround the right coaching staff around Sam Darnold, because he is a good talent. He just needs the confidence to be able to make those right decisions. You saw it at USC. He couldn't really make those decisions. He would throw picks. He would throw gross picks left and right, and then he would fumble it out of nowhere. But he was able to make those really accurate passes to be able to get them down the field. It's just something that, as a sports fan, it's really sort of frustrating, because I was a big fan of the Browns when they rebuilt. I was a really big fan of the Astros moving to baseball when they rebuilt. I'm really interested to see how the Braves are able to rebuild. I'm really into that kind of stuff. So I was really excited to see how the Jets were going to do this season with, Jamison Crowder. And, then they added all these new young guys in the draft and through free agency. I was just really excited to see how they all came together. But, it's really been disappointing how it's all come out. And I honestly feel like it's Adam Gase's fault. Not fully, but he's in charge of making sure that his football team has the right culture and has the right mentality to go out and win those games. And so with that, I honestly believe that Adam Gase is going to get fired after this season. Let me know you guys' thoughts. I just wanted to go off on a little bit of a rant about the Jets, just because I do feel really bad for those fans. There are a lot of diehard Jets fans that just are yearning for their team to get past the AFC Championship. They're yearning for those Rex Ryan and Mark Sanchez days, which it's really sad that they're just trying to get that back. And so I hope that they're really able to figure it out, because, even this next year, they're going to have a lot of cap space. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how they finish the season. Let me know, guys, what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know if you guys have any other points that I should have talked about with the Jets. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys want me to keep on doing these. Give me a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks.